Today I'm comparing two biker jackets, the Vanson C2, which is a special collab from my shop with some modifications, and the Schott 618, just a classic jacket. Despite their obvious differences, these jackets are more alike than you might expect. Look, I want to start with the biggest difference, which is the hide that these jackets are made out of. So the Schott 618 is made out of a heavy-duty drum-dyed 3.25 to 3.5 ounce weight cowhide, what they call steer hide, and it is a relatively matte, very business kind of leather. And this C2, for my shop at least, is made in a kind of luxe Badalassi Carlo steer hide. It, as a leather weight, is around 3 to 3.25 ounce, which is slightly 3.25 the Schott, and it's a veg tanned vachetta style hide, which means that it's kind of infused with fats and oils and things. In some ways, it reminds me of the description when people talk about Chrome Excel. Obviously a different process, and the finishing is different. Similar idea. Now I'm gonna bring these leathers in close. Similar idea. Now I'm gonna bring these leathers in close. Similar idea. Now I'm gonna bring these. This jacket has really been worn a lot. If you follow my channel at all, you'll know I wear this quite a bit. This is not a new jacket in any way. And in fact, last year I wore it straight through for a month and kind of documented that process. You can see that it has really a lot of fine wrinkles and lines and wear all throughout. A new 618 looks really different from this. Much smoother looking in appearance. And to give a look at this hide close in, you can kind of see the grain a little better. I've been wearing this jacket every day basically for 2 weeks, and it's really developed quite a bit in that time, but it's got a long ways to go. The most obvious signs of wear are on the arms because they move around the most, but you can really see this leather is kind of lustrous. It has a deep, beautiful grain to it. There is a depth of color, and part of that is forming through wear. And other color differences, the hardware is different. Brass here on the C2 is standard, and nickel-plated hardware is standard on the 618. I want to also talk about some other design features that are kind of different. So on everything on the C2, when it comes to zips, like the pockets, they're all a little bigger. I find that especially it's obvious when we look at the cross chest pocket. You can kind of see the cross chest pocket on the C2 is a little bigger, kind of obviously bigger. And so is the ticket pocket down there, the coin pocket is a little bigger. And it does make for a slightly different proportionality on these jackets and the way that they look. But I will say I actually find it more convenient to put my hands into those bigger pockets. and the hand warmer pockets on this 618, by comparison, the teeth of the zippers kind of get at my hands when I stick my hands in the pocket. And because the C2 pockets are slightly larger, it's less aggravating to put my hands in there. So one of those funny things here, these jackets are so similar, but if we're trying to compare and look for differences, that is one of them that really sticks to me. Another big difference between the C2 and the 618 is the belt, and it's really most obvious when we look at the back. The belt on this 618 is attached. You cannot remove that belt unless you cut it off. The belt, as you can see, for the C2, is just held in place by these belt loops, and it can be removed. So I've actually found myself wearing it without the belt quite often, and I like it. I think it's just, one, I'm so used to wearing the belted jacket here that it's kind of nice to have the variety. But I've worn it on and off, and it just depends on what mood you're in, I guess, basically, but it's nice to have the option there. And kind of interestingly, I weighed the belt by itself, and we're about to do this live. The belt is about half a pound. let's compare the weights of these jackets. And this is actually something that surprised me, and I think it goes to perhaps production techniques and I'm not sure what else, but the C2 weighs more than the 618. Even when we take the belt off, it's still heavier. So stop swinging. My fish scale here will reveal the truth once it lands on a number. Okay, we get 6.58. Now, that is including this hanger, which I'll tell you in a second, but it's about a quarter pound. 6.58 belt on. Clear you out. And 5.26 for the 618, hanging freely here. Now, it kind of surprised me that the weight of the leather, the given ounces of the leather, would yield. The given ounces on the Schott are higher than on the C2 with this Battle Carlo leather, but the end resulting jacket is heavier. And I'd be curious, this is something I'm actually going to be looking up, but I believe that that has to do with, yeah, and this thing is about 1/3 of a pound, 0.29, so between 1/3 and a quarter. So just a kind of interesting result there about the weights, the difference. I really expected the C2 to be lighter, and it's a little heavier. I think the hardware, maybe the belt, adds more weight. I know that the belt adds weight, but that section on the back, because there's more to the belt, and maybe the additional snaps and things like that. Interesting. The pockets being a little bigger, having more of that double welting on the pockets means a slightly larger amount of leather is involved in the production. I also noticed, for example, if we compare the epaulets on the C2 used a double layer of apparent full thickness hide, whereas on the 618 it's lighter, and I'm not sure. It just seems like a smaller piece. It's interesting. I'm not exactly sure. Mysteries. Perhaps with time I will solve them. Oh, there is one other big difference, which is that from a design standpoint, this C2, if we look under the arm, there's no underarm footballs as a standard. And of course, the 618 does have the footballs. These guys here. These guys here for mobility. Both jackets are very mobile. Their action backs are slightly differently arranged. And it's not just the footballs that make that difference. The action back for the C2, it seems to be a little bigger to me and offers more range of motion by itself, which makes sense if you're not going to have the footballs, that this is how they essentially make up for it. And perhaps that too must add to the weight of it, right? Because this action back's a little smaller, there's less additional leather involved in that double kind of layer over layer setup that happens with an action back. So we're working on it. Let's compare how these two jackets wear. Now, obviously right now I'm wearing a heavy hoodie. If you've seen my comparing layers video, it's a great one, which I highly recommend. You will see how to compare these two jackets for comfort while wearing layers. They're really similar when it comes to fit on the body. Now, my 618 is much more broken in, and so I have to imagine that with more wear and time, the C2 will have a little more ease in it. Just the nature of the leather stretching and conforming around the body, it'll be easier to wear. But here, with one heavy layer, I can comfortably move. I'm going to zip up the jacket to show you. Everything is easygoing in the C2. And this is the first time I've done this comparison next to each other. You're about to get my subjective opinion on which of these is easier to move in. But this is quite nice, I have to say. And from a look standpoint, I don't feel that I look like a sausage wearing this. So let's check it out with the 618 for a direct comparison. Oh my gosh. It's a little chillier out here than I thought it would be, and I could actually zip these sleeves up with the hoodie underneath it. That's nice to know. Off we go. Some of that difference on the interior, other than the cut, might be to the fact that this is a cloth lining in here rather than the padded one, but honestly, that padded lining doesn't take up a ton of space. I've read that some of the Vanson padded linings actually really do. On we go. Should have unzipped these sleeve ends before. So, finding that, well, I can, as we know, get this on. I think that the indication here is, if I can get this hoodie from, it's shoved in the back of the jacket. Come on now. Yeah, there we go. The arms and armholes on the 618 are tighter and slimmer. So as you can see, this is perfectly fine, and I'm used to and comfortable wearing this one layer under this 618. It does feel tighter than it does on the C2. And it's something that some people have noticed, that the C2 arms look a little bigger. It's because they are. Again, more leather used to make a larger arm, contributing to that bigger weight. We're kind of unpacking this whole mystery here. It's just the way it is. These arms on the 618 are slimmer. And this, gets into that kind of the magic of Vanson building jackets that are good for bodies. Well, if you need to have space to move, you need to have space for your arms to move. I think the flip side is that it does give the 618 a slightly neater appearance because it is a little trimmer. I kind of personally got away from being really interested in slim fit stuff, tight fitting jeans and all that kind of stuff a long time ago. But it can still be appealing. I don't think of this jacket as super slim fitting or anything like that. But if we're going to characterize some difference between the C2 and the 618, the C2 armholes and biceps are a little more slim fitting, a little bit of a neater appearance when you're from the front, although the back, having the underarm footballs on this standard 618, the back has a cleaner look. So if we're looking about cleanliness or neatness of an appearance, obviously trimness contributes to that, but also busyness removes from it. If we're talking about neatness or trimness or that kind of appearance-based stuff, is it a clean look, for example? I think that both have different ways of approaching that. This one has bigger arms, but a cleaner looking back, and maybe the bigger arms are less slim and neat, but overall it's a good appearance. And same goes for the 618, which is, it has that slimmer, kind of trimmer look, which is very clean looking, but then it has a slightly busier back. They both have great range of motion once this jacket is on. Now, there is one kind of third thing I want to compare here. And it's not really just the comparing these models, so to speak. It's these colors. And it's really kind of, I want to talk as far as like owning both of these jackets and how they wear when I'm out and about. And it's largely because I want to kind of bring, I had this thought and I wanted to kind of just discuss it, which is lots of people have commented that this color is really eye-grabbing, and it is. And one, I love that. That's fine. Some people have mentioned that they feel like it might be too much attention. Okay, that's your preference. I do want to say, though, when you're out and about in even this jacket, this black jacket, a Schott 618, which is by many considered to be kind of like standard biker jacket, right? When we come, and it's black, you know, kind of standard expectations. It still really stands out. I mean, I made a whole video about this, which was called, the thumbnail was "Stand Out," and just wearing a really great leather jacket, it is a move so powerful. So many, most are afraid to even try it. So the truth of the matter is, if you're out wearing either of these jackets, you're already doing something that basically no one you encounter in your regular day-to-day is gonna be doing. So if you're gonna be wearing a black biker jacket, you know, or if you're gonna be wearing a cognac biker jacket, or if the jacket has more squeak to it or less, I don't think that it's something that you should really be self-conscious about those kind of differences. You've already made the leap into wearing, you know, a really robust, really stand out leather jacket. So I do also want to show these jackets with just a t-shirt fit. So here we go. I'm gonna take off this hoodie. It's a little chilly out here, so I'm taking one for the team, for you guys. That's what's happening. So finish up on comparing the fit after I just waxed philosophical about the nature of wearing a leather jacket in public. All right, 618. It's a good one. Classic, awesome. And the C2. Also a good one. Also classic and awesome. This C2 runs big compared to this 618 in that I wear a 40 in the 618 and I wear a 38 in the C2 for what is, as you can see, a very similar fit. So folks have mentioned being concerned about sizing down from a typical size, but really the 38 C2 is much like a standard 40. And this is the easiest way I can show you. I wear a 40 all the time. I'm 5'9", 175 pounds, just over a 40-inch chest. And as you can see, it's not like this jacket, it's not like I'm wearing my dad's jacket here. Even with a t-shirt, it doesn't have like an oversized look. If anything, it's kind of just right. And I'm gonna buckle it all up and show you. Here, we're gonna pull on the belt. And I mean, if you're curious, I have posted a lot to Instagram, and there's some other shorts and videos on YouTube with me wearing this jacket, and of course lots of them wearing this Schott 618 because I've had it for a couple years now. So this 38, you should conceive of it as a 40. And so if you're typically wearing a 42, then get the C2 40. It just runs really big. Anyways, y'all have an awesome. If I didn't make any comparisons you wanted me to make between these jackets, hit me up in the comments and I'll figure out how to do that. And I hope you have an awesome day.